Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7th edition of the Dubai Watch Week. This is Chronomania. It's all about the love of watches, timepieces, and we have 4 distinguished guests coming from different backgrounds, different passions, and we'd like to welcome them one by one. To start with, Mr. Dhanush. He was born in a cinematic family, made his debut in 2002 when he was very young, and quickly became one of India's most versatile actors. He has won multiple Best Actor awards, wrote and performed the global hit Why This Coliveri. I think everyone knows this one. Mr. Dhanush, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Our second guest is Kane Williamson. He's one of the most respected batsmen in his generation. He's admired for his discipline, humility, and mastery on the field. He happens to be a very good barista as well when he's not playing cricket. He loves guitar. He plays the guitar. He loves surfing as well because he was born in a city that is by the sea. Kane Williamson, ladies and gentlemen. Well, now, who needs no introduction, basically, the shark, wonder kid, Mr. Kevin O'Leary, our first speaker. He's born in Montreal. He comes from an Irish father and a Lebanese mother, so he's bilingual, English and French, actually, not Arabic. And believe it or not, he was fired on his first job in an ice cream shop. This made him the man he was. He was just tasting the ice cream, not eating them, if I'm not mistaken. And he became to creating one of the biggest, or the first, to create a company that does software for learning. Mr. Kevin O'Leary, and he sold it for billions. And now, my personal favorite, Rajab Rajabi. It's because I first saw a post about him when he was competing in 2019 in Geneva, and he won the award. I can't remember against who, but in watchmaking, the guy is a genius. He left Francois Joun, was that in 2012? 2010. So leaving June and opening up his own watch business was something extraordinary. He was very passionate, and he started actually when he was 15. He worked as an apprentice in Patek Philippe. At that time, I had to ask permission to stay out. Welcome, everyone. Give it up for Rajab Rajabi. So we start with the shark, Mr. Kevin. What's the first watch that you remember and your favorite watch that had a sentimental value for you?
I have never sold a watch that I have purchased because I think that's the essence of collecting. My very first piece was a Speedmaster 1975 moon watch that my father wouldn't buy for me. He said, you have to earn the money and buy it yourself. And I still own it. And it's very special, obviously. It still works, and I wear it all the time. And the beautiful lesson from that piece that I learned over time, the DNA of the Omega Speedmaster, if you take a Snoopy of today, the 50th anniversary, and you look at the 1975 Speedmaster that went to the moon, that design, they're practically identical. Decades and decades and decades later, the brand has maintained the DNA and the look of the dial, and that's the essence of creating legacy. And so if you're a watch company that is past 50 years old and you've been able to keep the DNA of the original vision of the watchmaking, the dial design, you have something that no one else can get. You have an iconic brand. And I think we talk a lot about that here.
Thank you, Kevin. Now, we'll go to Dhanush. You wanted to be a chef before you became an actor, despite you being born in a very famous family for acting. Your father was a director, your brother is a director. Why did you want to be a chef, and what changed?
Good evening, everybody. Right from my childhood, I kind of stayed away from filmmaking or the cinema world. My father was always busy, he was always away, and I could never spend quality time with him. So for some reason, I never took a liking to cinema or filmmaking or acting or anything. But I always felt cooking is one of the finest arts. So I started to like cooking because I made I was 11-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy. I made an omelette for my father. So my father's approval is everything for me in life. So he tasted a bit and he said, it's really nice, make one more for me. That day I decided to become a chef and never became one.
But, but becoming an actor got you a better approval, I think, right?
I'm very blessed to be where I am today. I'm very lucky, very blessed. I'm very grateful for whatever I've achieved in my field. But there's always this one small spark inside my heart that still tells me maybe you could have become a chef and you could have still become probably this big or bigger.
Perfect. Now we go to Mr. Kane Williamson. You started at the age of 7 with cricket. I mean, why cricket, not rugby?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's a good question, but quite an obvious answer. If you've met a rugby player before, they're sort of 6'5" and 5 foot wide, and so cricket kind of chose me, to be fair. So I mean, you rite of passage growing up in New Zealand. It's a passion for everybody to play rugby. You sort of have to play rugby until you work out quite quickly that it's not for everybody. So cricket became my passion.
Perfect. Now, Mr. Rajavi, at the age of 14, you applied to work for Patek Philippe. At the age of 14, most kids have different things they're looking for. I started working at 15. Don't get me wrong, I'm being decent. Okay, and how did you fall in love with this, and how did Patek hire you at the age of 15?
So first of all, yeah, good evening, everyone. But in Switzerland, this is allowed, you know. So first of all, you know, in Switzerland we can start an apprentice at 15. So it's true. Quite early, I start to appreciate watchmaking. You know, this remind me always, or remember my father. I always see him with watches, and you know, I wanted to learn a bit more. And I have to say, when I came in Switzerland, because I'm born in Kosovo, when I came from Switzerland, you know, you don't have that much friends, so you have to adapt. And maybe it was kind of, you know, trying to find myself, and I started to read about watchmaking, and very, very quickly I realized that it's quite fascinating. You know, you can go learn how to do watches, and you know, I think like a lot of us here, when we start to understand a bit more, when we start to see what we can do, I mean, I just been in love, and I applied, and apparently I was not too bad, so they choose me, and this is how I start.
Perfect. So I didn't know that you were born in Kosovo originally.
Yes.
A lot of people does not know that. You went at the age of 12 to Geneva.
Yes. So I joined my father. My father lived in Switzerland since 1976. So like a lot of Albanian people, you know, they go in other country because Kosovo was not that good at this moment. So they've been, you know, they're going out. So in Europe or other countries, or in the US, for example, and you know, they take care of the family. This is how it is. And yeah, during the war, we joined my father in Switzerland.
Excellent, thank you. So, Kevin, you are well known for your red straps. A lot of people would like to know why the red straps and normally the black suit.
It's a very simple story. About 15 years ago, on the set of Shark Tank, they changed wardrobe designers, and a new woman came in place. And the thing about television is the idea of continuity. If you're shooting something in one episode, and then 2 months later you shoot another one, it's great if everything's the same because they can edit it back and forth. And in my case, I ended up wearing the same black suit, white shirt, black tie, tie pin, cufflinks. And I decided one day, for the hell of it, just to change my band to something else. And I came on the set that morning. Her name is Artemis. And she said, "What the hell are you doing? Where's the red band?" I said, "I don't want to wear a red band today." She said, "Yeah, you're wearing a red band." I said, "I don't want to wear a red band." She said, "I'm telling you, you're wearing a red band because we want to cut the footage the same way next week. We can't change the band." And so that was the beginning of a very long journey into red bands. And I'm going to take some personal credit worldwide. I've been told by band makers that red band sales are up 40% in the last 3 years. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. So, now back to you, Kane. What was your first watch that you bought, and what value did it have for you? It doesn't have to be anything specific.
So in New Zealand, the watch culture, I mean, everything's quite small. There's only 5 million people, but within that, the watch culture's, just a fraction of that. But through playing professional sport, often you're joining people that are much older than you that might have then got into watches. And so that was sort of my first exposure. So when I first went to the UK, sort of 20 years ago, and then I have family in Geneva, I just felt like I had to actually buy a watch in Switzerland. And I ended up buying a Tissot sort of T-Racer, which it's lost a few screws, and it's...
the black strap.
Yes.
I've seen that. I've tried to figure out what it was.
And and that was sort of my first real watch, I suppose. I mean, I always sort of wore a watch on my wrist, but and then from there the slippery slope began, and I've gone far deeper into the world of watches and sort of followed that passion a lot more.
Interesting. Dhanush, for everyone there is a first love, not female watches. So what was the first watch that you fell in love with and took you to that place?
Well, the first watch I fell in love with was a watch my mom got me when I was in school. It's less than $1, no name on it. It's plastic, it's digital, like it'll show just the time in digital. And there's a light, it runs out of battery, like you have this tiny, small, round battery behind, runs out of battery, it's done. So I come from a very humble background. So once the batteries are out, your watch is done. So it'll be in lot of colors. So me and my sisters, we'll have to like choose the colors. It'll be in violet, yellow, green, and it'll be very shiny and flashy, So even when the battery is done, I'll still wear the watch and go to school. I mean, it stopped showing time, but I still wear the watch and go to school. I really, really was in love with the watch. So I still have that one, which of course it doesn't work or anything, it's done, but I still have the case, it's still back at home. That is the one that I'm still in love with. And the second part of your question is like, eventually like boys, they grow up, first it's video games, then you're a teenager, you're into probably supercars and stuff. And once after a specific age, the true and real love finds you. In this case, it's watches.
Perfect. We are blessed or cursed. You can't tell. So, thank you. Going back to Rexhep. Am I pronouncing your name right? Rexhep.
Super.
We have a whole month named after you. in Arabic. Apart from Akrivia or Rajab Rajabi, what was your first watch that you've loved? Or what made you fall in love with watches?
I mean, I think just to realize that making watches or how to learn or being able that you can learn to do watches, this was something, a step. But I have to say my first watch really that I wore, and it was a Swatch, like a lot of Swiss people, I think, you know, we are used to receive someone from family or someone, you know, so I got this Swatch was totally skeletonized, you know, plastic also, but very good. After that, I think really what make me realizing or give me this emotion that really make me starting believing or say, you know what, this is what I want to do and this is what I want to have like emotion. It was in Patek Philippe when I seen, because you know you're doing when you do your apprenticeship, you're doing different, you go in different workshops all around, and you can see different métiers. And one of this was you control all the watches. And I remember, because they were quite rare, I got the chance to have on hand a 10 days tourbillon. This is the 5101, and I remember was the platinum version. And you know, tourbillon, I would say, was a bit more famous or was quite extraordinary to have something, you know, in hand. And I got this watch in hand, and it was quite impressive. And I have to say, this gave me kind of emotion that I always, or I would say even with my watches today, you know, I had another, but this one I remember very well. And this made me realizing that whatever happened in my life, I want to do something that give me this one. I still don't get the same emotion, I have to say. So I'm still looking after, but it was something that bring me to this passion, to this love, and make me believing on something.
I think, Rajab, you've created a brand, the only brand that was created at the very top from day one. I mean, I've seen a watchmaker that was happy that he was allocated Rajab Rajabi or an Akrivia in 5 months, and he's a very renowned watchmaker. So, congrats on what you've achieved.
Thank you.
So, Kevin, what does a watch mean to you? Or let me rephrase the question. What attracts you in a watch?
I think, you know, it's a real dilemma question for everybody here, because the truth is, in today's world, you don't need a watch to tell time anymore. Your phone does that for you in a much more accurate way. But when you start buying watches and associating them with passages in your life, a deal you may do, a graduation, a birth of a child or something, and you know that dial is associated with that event, it stays with you for the rest of your life. And so every one of my pieces represents something that, you know, I either achieved or an event that I was involved in. You know, when I was in the mutual fund business, we achieved a certain size, and I bought everybody a Cartier Roadster with engraved in it our first 500 million that we were managing for people. And that watch means a lot to me today. It was a steel Roadster. We weren't that big a company, but it's engraved with that. And many of my pieces are like that. But, you know, what's happened to me, you look at collectors, they have different philosophies. And I know many collectors now. It's a wonderful community around the world, and one of the reasons I'm here tonight. This show is, by the way, wherever Hind is, I mean, congratulations, this is turned into something monstrous. And this year you can see that it's unique in the passion of collectors meeting makers, and just, it's a party. It's a fantastic experience for everybody. And you know, I don't get to bed till 2 in the morning on these nights. It's great. So thank you for achieving that and what your family has done. But you know, when you meet these collectors all around the world, and it's a very interesting community, they have different philosophies. Some of them go vertical. You know, and Rexhep knows this. They're very passionate about Patek. They only collect Patek. Every caliber of Patek. You go see their collections. It's row upon row of Pateks, which is a fantastic. But that's not my philosophy. I'm a dial guy. So I don't care what the piece costs. Is it a different dial than what I already have? And how do I pair it? Because I wear 2 watches, and I go through 6 pieces a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at noon, and 2 at night. And so I'm thinking all the time, how am I going to pair them, and what dial goes with what? And so when I was on my way here pulling watches for what I was going to wear for the next 10 days, I noticed there was a $299 Timex sitting beside a $1.2 million Jour. Living together in the same box, and they're in love. And so it's not really about the money, it's how these 2 dials work together. And so I'm a dial collector, and I just love today because I saw some really crazy chicken dials here. And I love crazy chicken stuff. And so, I mean, it's about the dial. And I think if you're let that way, you collect in a different way.
Perfect. So,
Yeah.
Dhanush, you've been spotted wearing an Apple Watch. I've seen that photo. An Apple Watch on your wrist. Despite that, what is a watch that you would never buy? But you bought an Apple Watch already.
Pass.
Not necessarily a watch brand. Maybe a tourbillon. You would never buy a tourbillon. Although
I would never wear yellow gold.
Yellow gold.
Yellow gold.
Spot on.
I mean, that's as safe as this answer can get.
Well, you can say, I will never buy a minute repeater. I will never buy
I'm going to stick with yellow gold.
Okay. What about you, Kane? What is a watch that you would never buy?
I mean, you touched on the smartwatch, and that is the first watch that comes to mind purely because if I have that on, I don't have a mechanical watch on. So it's sort of, unless I adopt a watch on each hand,
Which you should do.
yeah, that's a whole
You
nother
have
level.
2 wrists. What's the matter with you?
Yeah. Hey, I've learnt a lot in the last 2 days, so I appreciate it. And I do love function in watches and functionality, and you know, you don't always use them, but it tells a great story. And I do a lot of travel, so I love a GMT watch. I also really enjoy a chronograph. So I mean, I wouldn't say never because tastes seem to always change. I mean, I'm going to walk out of here with a watch on each wrist, so there you go. I never thought I'd do that, but to be honest, something I don't have. But I'll never say never.
Okay. Clear. Rajab, you have 2 brands, Akrivia and Rajab Rajabi. About a year ago or a couple of years ago, you said you're eliminating Akrivia and going to Rajab Rajabi. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. I'm not eliminating, you know, it's part of my history, it's there, but I think just I wanted to focus on one of them, you know.
Okay.
But I'm not eliminating, it's there, it's still mine. I just felt, you know, I don't know, maybe I like challenges, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of stupid because, you know, everyone like now, but I just think now I want just to focus on my name, and but it's still there, maybe I will do something else.
See, because Rajab Rajabi is a simple watch, but it is a very expensive simple watch. And Akrivia is a complex watch. So I thought these were the 2 differentiators between them.
No, you know, actually, why I use it and I started with Akrivia, it was really simple because I couldn't, I didn't have enough confidence, you know, to put my name, you know, so, because for me, you know, I always looked like, you know, like a watchmaker when he put his name. This is how I believe, you know, I mean, I was young, I didn't read that much. I didn't see the story and everything. You know, I was just an Albanian coming in Switzerland, and I felt just bad to put an Albanian name in a Swiss watch. You know, I was thinking that it's not, you can't break these rules, you know. But in reality, if you look at the history, you have a lot of watchmakers coming from other countries, so this is why I used Acrivia, and this is why, you know, I started. But actually, I just found, after years, I found a bit more confidence maybe. People say, oh, maybe you should focus, you should sign your watches. And it's a bit maybe more personal because you sign your watch, you put your name on it. And honestly, you know, no strategic thing, just my name. I didn't think that people will remember this, to say frankly. It was too complex, and finally I realized that people, it's quite symmetrical also, like, you know, that I love symmetry, so I say maybe I stick to this one and I continue.
Sometime in 2022, we met in Spa, and I told you, and asked you a question then, and I'm asking you in front of the audience. I would love the audience to know this. I asked you the question, you've deleted everything on the Instagram at that time, if you remember.
Yeah.
And it felt like you are creating a whole new line or a whole new thing. You're starting from zero. So if you would like to explain to us, why did you do that?
First of all, you know, you can archive, I think, the pictures. So I didn't delete, so they are still there. So eventually I will bring it back. No, I think, you know, maybe we were in the era we can you know, we can tease a bit. And to say frankly, I didn't realize that people will react that much. So to say frankly, I just wanted to clean because I was releasing a new watch, and it was a big talk about it. I was a bit shocked because I received what's happened and everything. So I say, wow, this is something crazy. But no, I just archive, and you know, I wanted just to release a new watch, which was the RRCC2. And this, but honestly, they are still there, and I will bring them back. I think I will organize a bit because now I have a bit to reorganize a bit my but I'm really focused on my watches actually. So this is why I didn't take care of my Instagram, I have to say. So it will happen very soon.
I'm still hoping to get a watch, by the way.
Thank you very much.
No pressure.
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate.
Kevin, being a shark, if you know what you know now, would you invest in Rexhep's business?
In Rexhep? Probably not. I mean, you know,
if he came as in the Shark Tank and stood and explained to you everything to do with the watch.
Well, I've changed my perception about micro brands growing into sustainable businesses because, you know, I mean, a lot of people talk about this case study in F.P. Journe, obviously. I mean, what's remarkable about that story, and which I think is in the DNA of your brand as well, you know, I know Journe, many people know him. I'll tell you a story about him that I think says it all. I went to him 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and I said, you know, FP, you're pissing a lot of people off because there's just no way to get an FP Journe. This is 3 years ago. Why don't you take the Elegant, which is a quartz watch, and make 10,000 of them? Because at least the brand could get out there and people would have an entry-level piece. And he just looked at me and he said, no. I said, why not? He said, I don't do it for the money. I don't care about money. And yet because he has that attitude and he is very controlling about what is produced and who gets them, he's made a lot of money in the value of his brand, proven by Chanel's, you know, 20% ownership in it. So there's something about watchmaking, and I think you know this, that has nothing to do with economic reward. It's about the passion of making something that others covet and tell others about it, and it's a word of mouth thing. But you don't know at the beginning when that micro brand starts and that watchmaker starts what their motivations are. And they have to prove to the collector what they're about, and the collector has to eventually earn their trust to be able to buy more pieces. Because, I mean, look at your situation. Now that you're here, we got to make a deal. I need one of your watches too. So, you know, we'll talk in the back, but it's sort of, I feel I've earned it with brands. You know, it took a lot of years, a lot of decades to prove that when I buy a piece, it's a one-way ticket. I never sell my pieces. I don't flip them. It never happens, ever, and it never will. And I think, and I want to work with makers that creates remarkable dials and remarkable pieces. And then I'm very fortunate in life, I get to put them on television in front of hundreds of millions of people. And it helps perpetuate their brand, and others learn about it. And the best thing about a piece is it starts a conversation. If you collect great watches with great dials, you will meet a lot of people that would never have talked to you. They'll see it on your wrist and they'll say, what the hell is that? And then, I remember recently getting on board a flight, international flight, and a woman on my left looked at one of my Jordans and said, how the hell do you tell time with that? It looks like scrambled eggs. And I said, I don't tell time with this. This is a piece of art. I'm wearing art here. I've got my Apple phone right beside me. I look at that. She said, that's really screwed up. I said, no, it isn't. You obviously don't collect watches. And then we talked about it for a while, and then she started to understand. I mean, it's a great conversation starter. That's what a great watch is.
So it reminds me of the sequential MBNF. You just keep looking for the time around it. It's a beautiful piece. Kane, about your coffee making skills. So you were training in COVID, I think, was it? Tell us about the passion you started developing. I've seen a lot of videos about you trying to make these, and you make them better than a lot of people do. Baristas.
Yeah, every now and again. Yeah, you only see the good ones on social media, so don't be fooled. But yeah, before COVID, a big panic was a number of things. But where was I going to get my coffee? I used to sort of wander around different cafes most days and keep testing out the coffee. And then so I made sure I bought a machine and then made that a focus for a while. And I love the process of trying to make the perfect coffee and hit that moving target every morning, or maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And you never really get there, but it's really enjoyable, and it sort of requires, you know, your attention for 10 minutes each time that you do it, and I really enjoy it, and it's really social and something that I enjoy doing. But actually, one of the big factors was having children, because yeah, if you've anybody taken children to cafes, it's an absolute nightmare, and you can't just sit there and enjoy yourself. So I thought I'd buy a coffee machine. I'll stay at home so the kids are happy, and I'll make my coffee there.
But, you know, having good coffee does not mean it has to look nice.
No.
Why?
It just has to taste good, yeah.
I know, it's the way you make it and the passion that happens behind it. I see the Japanese doing it, and they do those small dots, and it's like an art piece, and all it takes is, that's it, it's gone.
You're right, yeah. There's an impermanence to it. You drink it, and that's it. But, yeah, I mean, there's no perfection in it, but it is an art. Not so much when I do it, but I'm trying my very best. But like I say, I really enjoy the social aspect of a coffee in the morning with friends. At least, you know, you can only have a certain amount of coffee a day, so you want to make it a good one.
Count.
So, yeah,
Exactly.
you need to make it count.
Exactly. So, Dhanush, about your love for watches, were you influenced by your father? Were you influenced by your mother, by your peers, the surrounding? What mainly influenced you to go into it? How did you fall in love with it? How did you start collecting or started looking at pieces?
Honestly, I didn't know anything about watches about 2-3 years ago.
You just said you didn't. Still.
You've got that collection in
Still,
2 or 3 years.
Probably Mr. Kevin and Mr. Rexhep are wondering what is a cricketer and an actor doing here, talking about making an omelette and coffee. you know, probably we don't belong here, but we just we have a lot of passion. We were talking before, me and Kane. We have a lot of passion and we love watches. That's why we are here. That doesn't mean we understand anything about it, and the movement or complication
just
or the
look
reference
nice.
number. How does one remember that reference number? So many reference numbers. They say Patek something 52711 -01. How to remember that? I'll never
No,
know.
forget about the watch models. Some of them knows the number of the movement, and I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah, how? So, so just 2-3 years ago, I was under the impression the world stopped with Omega and Rolex. And then my stylist kind of introduced me to this world, actually, who was styling me. And eventually, you know, you start reading about them, watch YouTube videos, and I've seen all the red straps, your YouTube videos as well. And you slowly start understanding, and it's very addictive. You know, once you get into it, there's no coming back. It's very addictive. I mean, I don't have a big collection or anything. I have very tiny collection, but it's not about collecting. It's you know, it's a romance. It's a romance. Once you get to know them, it's a different world. So now I'm really loving it, you know, and yes, that's how that's how I got into watches.
Okay, about your song.
My song. You still haven't forgotten it.
No, I will never forget it. Still rings in my head. When you wrote it, because you wrote the lyrics, he wrote the lyrics, but did you think that it's gonna hit over 100 million views on YouTube?
No.
It's 1 billion, I think now.
Yeah, no, honestly, no. We made it as a joke, actually, the song. We were making a different song, actually. And when we were making that other song, this idea came to us. And we worked on it a little bit, and then we scratched the idea. We put it aside, and we continued working on the previous song, which we were originally working on. And then we forgot about it entirely. And then one day we just see this, you know, open file, and then we see this, why this rarity? And it's like, what is this? We opened it again, we heard it, and it was very funny. So I told the musician, funny always works, especially in a song. So let's give this a shot. And the most I expected out of that song was a regional success. You know, I come from Tamil Nadu, we speak Tamil. Tamil is one of the most ancient languages in the world. So but the song is not in Tamil. It's in Tanglish, or English words that's pronounced
It's
in
a hybrid song.
Tamil slang, yeah. So
You can sing it and explain to people. If you wish.
see, I keep running away from it, but it keeps chasing me. This song.
You'll be
it's
haunted.
been more than a decade, and I'm still losing to that song. So yes, that's how the song happened, and then it got a life on its own. It became, it actually redefined viral marketing in India, at least. You know, after Verity, we came to a better understanding of the term viral marketing. So I'm very proud to have made that song, but also, as much as a blessing it is, it's also kind of a curse, that one.
No, it's not a curse. Kevin, you love photography. Actually, I think that was the first real money that you made when you were in school. Am I correct? Do you still do that?
I still do. And I've learned something about successful entrepreneurs that you might find interesting. If you get to know them, you invest in them, and usually the time period's 5-7 years you're with them. The ones that execute successfully, that seem so focused on what they do, actually spend a fair amount of their day or night outside of their comfort zone, doing stuff that they've never done before, and it helps you exercise the muscle everybody forgets about, your brain. You know, you get very complacent about something, and you're very used to doing it, and you keep doing it over and over again. So it's a great idea to pursue, you know, in business, the discipline of making or losing money is very binary. It's black and white. You either make money, you lose money, and that's the same all around the world. But in the arts, whether you play guitar or photography or you paint or learn how to play the cello or whatever, you're using a different part of your brain. And it helps you solve problems on the binary side of business. And I think you find great entrepreneurs, and I'll give you an example that everybody knows and remembers. Steve Jobs, I used to work for him. I did all of his educational software. He was not a nice guy. But he was fascinated with fonts, the art of creating fonts, the ancient art of making letters. And he would spend hours designing fonts, and then he developed a technology that would let a font scale at the same resolution, and he was the first to do that with the Mac. It shows you the combination of this myopic focus on the creative side of font making into what became a phenomenal success in technology, his font technology. And much of those patents were developed by him, and so there was the combination of the arts and science crashing together. And so I think that's why I keep pursuing things that are, in fact, I'm shooting today with a camera, an Olympus camera from '89 in black and white film. That camera used to cost $80. Now you can only get them in Tokyo for $1,000. But people that shoot with that and then transfer digitally get a completely different look. It's very interesting, and you know, it just keeps your mind sharp to do other stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna, you know, try and play my guitar as much as I can. I bought a cello, sitting in my living room. I'm looking at it. It's different than a guitar. Maybe I'll learn how to play that. I don't know. We'll see.
So you were amongst the first people who focused on software. A lot of people were working on, that was in the 80s. You started your company, Learn, and it kind of boomed into something that is extraordinary, and you sold it in '99.
Yeah, yeah. I met a guy named John Freeman. He was working for an oil company, and he had taken a Hewlett-Packard 2-pen plotter. Back in those days, you want to do a graph, you used a plotter with ink, and it would drive an XY axis. And I met him with an Osborne computer in a library at night in a club. We both had Osbornes, and we were programming them. And I looked at it and said, John, you know, there must be millions of people around the world that this solves a big problem for, to draw graphs. He said, yeah, but I'm working. I said, well, how about this? Why don't we form a company together? I'll be the marketing guy, you be the tech guy, you write the code, and I'm going to go see Hewlett-Packard and convince their product manager to bundle one of these discs in every plotter and pay us $2.
So you've been a shark ever since.
Royalty. That's what it was. It was a royalty. We sold hundreds of millions of copies of that software. And that was how that company started. But it was, he was the guy. He was the Wozniak for me. And his wife never let him leave his job. It was nuts. I go and see her and say, look, he's got to work full time. We're wildly successful. She said, I don't want him to lose the security of his 9-to-5 job. I mean, I never understood her. I couldn't. I said, he's rich. His stock is worth millions of dollars. What is he sitting around doing 9-to-5 for? She said, he's not leaving his job. This whole thing could blow up, you're doing. I said, okay. I mean, he was trapped in his own hell, I think. That was the problem.
So, Rexhep, how many watches do you produce a year?
As much as I can. Honestly, you know,
That's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we are still quite a big team, I have to say today. But what I'm saying, we're trying to do our best. What is really important, and what I try now to explain. You know, when I started in 2012, I came back to this, you know, decoration. And, you know, at this moment, nobody really wanted to join us, you know, so because they are comfortable in some companies, you know, they don't really believe on a new brand. And slowly, I have to find some people to teach them. So it took me some time, you know. So today we are still a big team, but honestly, it takes time to teach people first, and secondly, you know, to realize the quality that you want. It still take time. Most of the time, I'm frustrated, I have to say. So I go home frustrated, and you know, I'm trying to find solution to do more. But what is important, because at the end, you know, these watches have my name. I really think long term. I want to make sure that that they are as perfect as possible. I'm still not happy. It's not perfect. I mean, but what I'm saying, we try to do our best, and if we can do more with this quality, with this kind of feeling that I have to have, which is very artisanal, you know, that you put a lot of work there.
See, in my opinion, even if there is a flaw, I'm not going to complain, so you don't worry about it.
No, but you know, honestly, for me, what is sometimes it's a bit difficult to hear, because people want to have watches, and this is something that it became kind of a dream, because you know, I dreamed for so many years to having this demand and everything, and you want to do everything, you know, to deliver, but you have this thing that we have two hands, we have few watchmakers, and we are not able to do more. And but trust me, if I find a solution, I will do much more.
Thank you. I think I took a lot of time, and Mohammed, I think some questions from the audience. So let's see if someone has a question for any of the gentlemen.
Yes, thank you. So this question is for Mr. Wonderful and Mr. Rexhep. What is one thing that you've seen time and time again in the watch industry that you wish would change, regardless of the constraints that necessitate them?
You know, without mentioning any specific brand, it's when you get a hit and it's very desirable and you ride that pony decade after decade, it gets frustrating for the collector, because after you've bought 5 or 10 or 12 of them and you look at them and they all look the same, you start to say to yourself, I don't have the desire to have more of the same. And I wish brands would I'd like to see them take more risk in bringing different dials into their universe, because I think collectors and even new watch buyers like new things with the same precision behind it that you've trusted over the years. But the watch industry is guilty of that. I mean, you know, it's guilty of riding the pony too long and not taking risk and going and finding new ideas. And I think it takes a lot of, you know, the watchmaker or the CEO should get out there and you think about it, the majority of watches made in the world are in Switzerland, and the Swiss are very conservative, and I understand that. But I'm at the point now, I need new stuff. Like, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I got every watch, except yours. That's next. But, you know, it's sort of, I need new stuff. But while I'm alive, I want more stuff, so that's my frustration.
Perfect. Let's have another question. Lady?
I want to ask Mr. Dhanush. Hi, good evening. So, I
think she likes you.
I love him. and more than me, my mom loves him a lot. I can't explain in words.
We all do.
So I'm taking a video for her. Yeah. So yeah, I want to ask you, like, since it's related to watch, otherwise I have plenty of questions to ask. In this stage, I can ask only about the watch. So I want to ask you, what watch are you currently wearing? And is it your favorite, or do you have any favorites that is still at your home?
Yes, the favorite I told some time ago, right? Like that plastic watch. That's my favorite still.
Yes.
Currently, I'm wearing a FP Jean Tourbillon. That's as much as I know about it.
It's a 3D tourbillon. It's a very
to know.
complex one.
Good to know.
He's the better person to explain about it,
Only,
probably.
only Francois June does these things.
But I know it's a very beautiful piece. That much I know. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Because
Yes.
I also don't know much to ask about watches. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
We
you
are
so
same.
much.
Sure.
Thank you.
The lady in green.
Hi, good evening. And first, I'd like to say that I'm so happy to be here, be a part of this event. It's absolutely wonderful to hear all of you talking. It's so nice. So my question actually goes out to Mr. Dhanush. I want to know which is the next watch that you aspire to get in your life.
There is a FP Jean Francis Ford Coppola edition. It's just hand like this. It's like this. There are no, what do you call that? Hands. you
All
know.
right,
It's
okay.
just a hand itself like this. And it weirdly shows time, which I have to learn about. So, but it's a very beautiful piece, and that's what I aspire to acquire next time. If I'm lucky, I might not.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Thank you.
That watch is coming to auction, the prototype, on December 6th in New York. The very first one that he made for Francis Ford Coppola. It's going to test the limit on what those watches are worth in terms of valuation. The actual first one that was owned by Francis Ford Coppola. We're going to put that on television on the 4th and put it out around the world. It's a crazy piece.
I'll have to work another 10 years to participate in that auction.
The lady in maroon. Yes.
Can I?
تفضل.
Yeah. My question is for Rexhep. I've actually 3 questions. What is your favorite complication? And what do you think is the most overrated complication? And is there any complication that you would like to bring into existence?
The last.
Is there any complication that you would like to bring into existence, which is not made yet?
Okay, so I will start with the last one. So the last one, you know, I think like a watchmaker, you always dream about bringing something new. You know, unfortunately, it's not that easy because you know when you're doing something new, you have 2 things. You know, you can have an idea, but after that you have to make it work, and after that you have still to believe in yourself. You know, I mean, like, you know, just to say, you know what, I can make it. So I dream. I have some ideas. So let's see if we can make it. But for sure, it's my dream. Like a lot of watchmakers, you know, if you look at the history, I think if you don't do something that is important, people will forget you.
Are you working on something right now?
Yes. Yeah, to say frankly, I'm working on many things. So let's try to make it work, and we will see. But yeah, one of my favorite complication was and is still, it's the chronograph. It's interesting because you have different period, and you know, for me it was quite interesting to see, for example, the chronograph working, because you can have this kind of connection. You can see, you know, you push. You play with the pusher. You can see the column wheel moving. You can see some component moving. So it's interesting, you know. But you know, I evolve also a lot, and I like everything. You know, my dream is to be able to bring something new in each complication. So this is my goal. So like this, everyone know. Now I have to realize it. But yeah, I think the chronograph. I will go for the chronograph. So the last one, the second one, second question. You know, I will not talk about another complication, but I think many people think that tourbillon is complication. Okay, I think it's beautiful, it's very romantic, but it's not a complication. So I will say this one. I started with this. I really like it, how it is. But maybe today, I will, if I have to do a tourbillon, I have really to bring something new, you know, like new escapement or something. So it's very strange because I talk also about my work, but you know, it's an evolution. So this is my thought.
Thank you so
So
much.
I think that's all the time we have for tonight. Unfortunately, I know we have plenty of
Just
questions.
the last question.
Just a quick question for all of you. If your watches could talk, which watch is that says that you use it the most, and which watch feels that it's being ignored? If your watches could talk.
It depends doing what.
No, that it's being ignored that you're not wearing, and which watch would say that you're using me a lot? Just
Kane?
Fortunate to get a Patek 51, contrary to what you mentioned. I have learnt the reference of this. 5167R, and I'm yet to get the strap sized. It's been about a year, so it's a little bit criminal. I do feel bad, so that watch will be telling me to hurry up.
and which one is you use it the most?
Well, currently, the one that I have on, which is the vintage horology Purity Tantanix.
You mean this one?
The black strap, the black strap.
I think this is the politically correct watch to wear.
No, this is on.
No,
this is on.
we're at a Siddiqui event with Siddiquis on. That's a smart move.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
I would like to thank everyone for attending. I would like to thank the guests that are here. See, this Chronomania, the love of watches, does not have any difference. You have an actor, you have an athlete, you have an entrepreneur, you have a watchmaker. We all love watches. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, again. And we'll see you tonight. Enjoy the evening.
Rexhep, really, really nice meeting you.